SkyWEST Airlines and Sioux Gateway Airport. What it means for travelers.
Traveling in the holiday season with coronavirus. How to stay safe while celebrating.
And President-elect Joe Biden with plans to fight coronavirus. Your KCAU 9 News at 10 starts now.
We are Siouxland proud. This is KCAU 9 News at 10.
And thanks for joining us on this Monday evening. I'm Tim Seaman.
And I'm Sophie Erber. The United States surpasses a bleak milestone today, more than 10 million coronavirus cases.
More on how Siouxland is rethinking the virus fight in a moment. But first, Siouxland is expecting what may be a significant snowfall tomorrow. And although roads are only wet tonight, that will likely change by the morning commute when some icy surfaces could be out there.
That's right. I already had some ice on my car this evening. It's our top story right now at 10. This is the live view tonight from the KCAU 9 storm tracker, checking conditions on Gordon Drive again in Sioux City. Wet pavement providing for a damp drive for folks heading out tonight, but early morning wet snow is expected to move in. Now, the system already leading the National Weather Service to take some early precautions.
That's indeed the case, and Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson joins us tonight with the update on what's actually been posted to this point. Scott?
Well, that's right. We do have a winter weather advisory that is out there that is stretching through most of Siouxland. You can see that that's going to take effect at midnight tonight. That's a change from earlier. It'll last until 6 o'clock in the evening tomorrow. As you move north of Sioux City, inside of the blue on your screen, that is a winter storm watch where some of those totals could be a little bit heavier, perhaps close to 6 inches in spots up around Lamar's and Sioux Center. Taking a look at our radar picture now, you can see that we have that filling in with some wintry mixed precipitation indicated by the pink on your screen. Even a few flashes of lightning, so there's quite a bit of instability in the air, so something that we are tracking. Also a few flashes of lightning in the skies. Again, roads for the time being are in decent shape, but we do expect to have those deteriorate through the day tomorrow. We'll have more information on that snow disturbance coming our way in just a few minutes. Tim and Sophie.
Thanks, Scott. That's how you know that the seasons are changing as we speak, when you have thunder and rain and a little bit of snow moving in. Crazy.
It is a mixed bag tonight. Elsewhere this evening, the tri-state area continues to see a surge of COVID-19 cases. As of tonight, Iowa reports nearly 158,000 total cases and 1,800 deaths, all due to COVID-19. Health officials worry that the state's healthcare system may soon be overwhelmed, though Iowa's COVID-19 dashboard shows 30% of hospital beds are still available.
Meanwhile, Nebraska shows a total of almost 84,000 cases and 700 deaths. The recent surge has left about 30% of the state's hospital beds open. There are 53,000 total cases reported in South Dakota, along with 530 deaths. The state has a little more than 36% of beds available at area hospitals.
Here are the updated numbers from Siouxland and the Woodbury County health officials, now posting 110 new cases in the last 24 hours, and that brings the county closer to 8,500 total cases. Meanwhile, in nearby O'Brien County, folks there now seeing 970 total cases with 19 fatalities.
In Nebraska, Dakota County has 34 new positive tests today. That county has recorded almost 2,800 total cases and has the 5th highest number of cases statewide. And in South Dakota, Clay County reports 192 active cases. Union County reports 224 active cases. And new warnings tonight coming out from Siouxland health officials regarding holiday plans.
KCAU 9 reporter Hannah Adamson speaking today with local hospital leaders and shares what they're urging travelers to keep in mind this holiday season.
Tim and Sophie, many Siouxlanders are now preparing for the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, many planning to attend family gatherings. And with so many concerning factors this holiday season, health officials tell me folks planning to travel should not throw caution to the wind. Tonight, health officials urging Siouxlanders to rethink their holiday travel plans.
If you don't feel well, don't travel. If where you're going to, people don't feel well, again, don't travel.
With combined COVID-19 and flu season concerns, elderly relatives and those with pre-existing conditions are the most vulnerable.
You need to be quarantining if you're going to go visit them. You need to be limiting your contact out in your own community. Make sure you're always wearing a mask.
And added difficulties for folks hoping to test preemptively before they fly. Most hospitals, clinics, and urgent cares reserving COVID-19 tests for those with symptoms.
Current guidance now is not to test without symptoms. And a lot of it is related to, making sure you have those tests available for those that are sick.
Kafka says there are options for travelers.
Local pharmacies do have connection with a reference laboratory. They do asymptomatic testing. If you go to the website or call in. They can make an appointment for you.
No matter where you travel, health officials recommend attending smaller gatherings with immediate family.
You can invite others in too via Zoom, via WebEx. There's an opportunity just really to keep things on a smaller scale.
And if you do plan to attend a large gathering, make sure you wear a mask except when eating and stay socially distanced.
Maybe one person serves the food, so a lot of people don't have to serve the food, and then keep the sound down, the music and whatnot, so people don't have to shout.
It's the holidays. People want to hug. They want to kiss the babies. This isn't the year to do that.
Health officials also tell me a few things to consider when flying. Always wear a mask and take several with you. Keep your distance from other travelers and carry sanitizing wipes to clean off seats, seat handles, and tray tables. Hannah Adamson, KCAU 9 News.
All right, thanks, Hannah. Nebraska's coronavirus surge is causing Governor Pete Ricketts tonight to increase restrictions there in a new directed health measure. So starting Wednesday of this week, indoor capacity will officially be reduced to 25%. Social distancing will be required inside all establishments. That includes gyms, bars, and churches. Attendance at extracurricular activities will also be limited to family members. Ricketts is still against implementing a statewide mask mandate. Instead, he is pushing for more education on when exactly to use masks.
I think what we have to do is continue to educate people about when you use a mask. Certainly, in our DHM, we are requiring it in places where you've got that 15-minute contact of close contact. But we want people to understand how to use that. It's a tool to be able to help slow the spread of the virus. That's not our only tool.
Ricketts says those other tools do include frequent hand washing and, of course, social distancing. The governor, again, encouraging people to work from home if possible and limit their shopping trips. The new measures are set to expire on November 30th.
Iowa-based Casey's General Stores is about to expand its market share in Nebraska. In a deal announced just today, the Ankeny-based convenience chain says that it will spend $580 million acquiring 94 BUCKY'S retail stores and 79 dealer locations currently owned by Buchanan Energy. When the deal is complete, Casey's will own 2,300 stores in 16 states. Casey's is reportedly the nation's 4th largest convenience store company and the 5th largest pizza chain. Sioux City is a step closer tonight to locking up long-term air service to Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. City council members today voting 5-0 to accept a bid for a 3-year deal with SkyWEST Airlines. The agreement includes daily nonstop service out of Sioux City. The council and airport board now simply await approval from the U.S. Transportation Department. The route became available after American Airlines announced earlier this year it planned to drop service to Sioux City. SkyWest already operates a daily nonstop flight to Denver as well.
So our plan would be to fire off this letter, and there'll be other community support letters as well. Then we'll wait for the DOT to make their decision, and soon after that, whoever they decide would start serving the market in lieu of American.
Final word won't come until after a 30-day period for public comment. Both the council and airport board selected SkyWest over competing bids from American Airlines and Boutique Air.
For the first time in more than 30 years, the Siouxland Chamber Dinner and Auction is moving online. At a press conference this afternoon, the Siouxland Chamber of Commerce announced their online auction and virtual event this year. According to the Chamber, the focus of the event this year is supporting local businesses who were directly affected by COVID-19.
We're really wanting to focus on supporting our local businesses because there's been so many restaurants and retail outlets that have been affected, and so this is one way that we knew that we could support those businesses.
Now, the auction is not yet live, but you can go to the Chamber's website if you'd like to preview these unique items.
Looks like there's some neat stuff there, some memorabilia.
That could be cool, too. It's almost like online eBay bidding or something.
True.
Right?
Pretty neat.
Time tonight for our first real check at the weather. I know you previewed what's going on in Siouxland, kind of a mixed bag tonight, even some thunder moving through the area. But in short, most of us can expect some snow overnight.
Yeah, a mixture of precipitation. We have that temperature kind of hanging right around the freezing mark, but as it becomes colder here tonight, we will have a complete change over to snow, and it looks like that will persist through most of the day on Tuesday. Here's the view now from the Portneil Welding Company camera stationed at the KCAU 9 studio. Still some wet surfaces.
The future of the Affordable Care Act tonight in the hands of the Supreme Court. On Tuesday, the 9 justices will hear oral arguments in California v. Texas. That's a case to repeal the ACA. Republicans argue that this legislation is unconstitutional in its current form. This is the 3rd time the ACA has been challenged in the high court, but this time it will be heard before the most conservative panel of justices the court has seen in decades. Once these verbal arguments are over, a decision is expected by the end of June.
Though Joe Biden has been declared the winner of last week's election, votes are still being counted in Georgia, as well as in North Carolina and Arizona. Meantime, the president's campaign is expected to file even more legal challenges in the coming days.
What we have seen across the country is Democrat officials systematically trying to do an end run around the Constitution to tip the scales of the election in their favor.
According to the Associated Press, Attorney General William Barr has now been authorized to, has authorized the Justice Department, I should say, to probe any allegations of election fraud, though no evidence of any widespread voter irregularities exists. And earlier today, President Trump firing Defense Secretary Mark Esper. Trump announced the news in a tweet saying that effective immediately, Christopher Miller, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, will serve as acting secretary, sidestepping the department's #2 ranking officer. That's Deputy Defense Secretary David Norquist. The president saying again on Twitter, quote, "Mark Esper has been terminated. I would like to thank him for his service."
Meanwhile, President-elect Joe Biden tonight says a lot of work still remains, which is why Biden announced his new COVID-19 task force. He said the 12-person task force includes a former Surgeon General, former Food and Drug Administrator, or FDA, and a Yale professor. Biden also says the new task force will advise his transition and have a plan ready to be rolled out when he is sworn in as president.
We can get this virus under control, I promise you. We can rebuild our economy back better than it was before. We can address race-based disparities that damage our country. It's in our power. So let's wear a mask. Let's get to work. Thank you.
Biden says he's also looking to double the number of coronavirus test sites and boost contact tracing and call on state governors to mandate masks as soon as he begins his term.
One of the corporations spearheading the development of a COVID-19 vaccine tonight releasing some hopeful news. Pfizer saying that early results suggest their current shots may be up to 90% effective against COVID-19. Now that puts the company on track to apply later this month for emergency use approval from the Food and Drug Administration. Pfizer has estimated that 50 million doses of its vaccine could be available globally by the end of the year, which could cover about 25 million people since it is given in 2 doses.
Meanwhile, as Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the projected winners in the race for the White House, Harris could make history, as she would be the first woman of color to serve as vice president. Here in Siouxland, the president of Unity in the Community says barriers are being broken and glass ceilings being shattered, saying that despite political viewpoints, it does give women a clearer path to equality serving in government.
This is great across the entire nation for all women, all people, especially women of color. This signifies hope and I always say a fearless focus.
Vice President-elect Harris, also the second African-American woman to serve in the U.S. Senate and also the first South Asian American senator as well. Well, the Iowa men's basketball team has some high expectations heading into their season.
But how do they manage those expectations? Jake has the answer from the team. Still to come right after the break.